Guys and dolls, forgive me, I do not have my mic, but it's just a wee walk. I've just travelled up from Belfast and come down and see some friends in Bangor, up nice and early. It was a nice drive, so it was. Um, it's a beautiful day. It's going to be a really beautiful day in Northern Ireland today. And yeah, I've had some really, really good phone calls and, I've also spoke face to face with some good people. And yeah, it's a very tricky situation. You know what I mean? I can't even tell you like how you would go about doing stuff like this, and what would happen and what come, because you haven't got a clue. You know what I mean? You just like you sort of walk up to everybody ready for anything. You know what I mean? And you've just got to rely on your beliefs of who you are. And rely on the faith of God and that you're a good person. That's the utmost and the first thing that drives me. With the Christianity thing. You know what I mean? Um, it's just, as you know, it's just you get brought up by the church and Sunday school and the BB, and you know, and church is always part of your life. You know what I mean? Then you eventually walk in the footpaths of God. There's no two ways about it, guys. And like anybody that knows me, obviously my biggest fear is leaving my wee lucky. Like my mum left me. But she's got Katie, and Katie's going to be here for a long time, and that's the most important thing. I didn't have anybody, but the thing is like death is exciting. Death is the beginning of the journey. And like it's not something I've ever really feared. You know what I mean? It's never something I've thought to myself like, oh, I've done so many bad things in my life. Oh, when I die, if there's a hell, I'm in big trouble. I've never had to worry about that. Yes, I've done bad things, but as I've said, good people can do bad things. You know. Um, but on a whole, I'm really, really happy, really relaxed, eating well, and looking forward to what's coming. Because there's a lot in the pipeline. Obviously, I'm not going to be putting out my plans. Because I am getting a lot of flack from the dissidents, the extremists in your Catholic communities. Are not happy that a Protestant was in Dublin amongst all them tricolours, enjoying the demonstration, listening to the speakers, listening to what they had to say, and trying to learn from them and going forward. As you know, my only goal is to make sure our country stays the Christian country that we've known, that my wee church, the Methodist Church in the village in the Donegal Road, remains a Methodist church. And if my wee lucky wants to come home, then when she's at school, she's going to enjoy the Christmas celebrations like we've always done, the nativity plays, dressing up as Mary or whatever. The Easter thing when Easter comes around, just enjoying what we enjoyed, simple things in life, things that we never thought for 1 minute would ever be at any risk. And a lot of people say, but Freedom Dad, there is no mosques, there's no churches being turned into mosques in Belfast. No, I know there isn't, but remember, we're part of the United Kingdom. What goes on over there is eventually going to happen here. It's always been the common thread, and like I say, it's a bit like America. Like whatever happens in America, 5 years it happens in London or England. Like sort of politically, and so we can sort of use that sort of same thing with the mainland. And what's going on over there eventually will filter into Belfast, and we will experience the same horrors, for want of a better word, that these poor girls and boys had to suffer in the last 15 years because of the failure of their government by letting men, really dangerous men, extremists who follow the Quran to the letter, and felt that our children were kafar, infidels, and not worthy of any respect, any care, or any protection. And, you know, you think we're going to let that happen in this country? Any of these dissidents, you know, shouting, going to our demos, our counter demos with their Palestinian flags, supporting Hamas. You know, and like, yes, there's Israeli flags at our demos, and yes, we will address it, because we aren't demonstrating against Israel and Palestine. It's got nothing to do with us. It's 1,000 miles away from what we're dealing with. You know, we've never really been that kind of country that's been bothering with any other body's problems, because we've got so many problems of our own. And as you can see in London, Derry slash Derry, still going on today. There's still men out there ordering our young men to go out on the streets and cause mayhem, you know. And all I'm saying is, guys, you need to ask why. In 2025, we've got this. We've got, you know, Catholics all over the place, you know, welcoming freedom, Dad. And quite happy that somebody's speaking up for them, you know. Because nobody in our, you know, think about it. How many Catholics do you think in some of these areas can speak out about the Islamification of some of the countries and what we're connected to as a United Kingdom? When the dissidents are supporting Palestinians and because of the PLO and supporting Hamas and along with Sinn Féin wanting all these people to come over here and come to our country and seek refuge here, when the Muslim country next door to them has got 3 lines of razor wire wall and 2 fences with armed guards and patrols to make sure these people don't get into their country, but yet the dissidents want them in our country. And you see, this is the difficult thing, being a Protestant, talking like this, because I've got nothing but love in my heart for every single Christian. Don't care who you are, don't care who you were, okay, and I don't care what you've done. If you look at me as a Christian and a brother, I will look right back at you as a Christian and a brother also. It just happens to be, it isn't the people in the areas where I go that are inviting these people into the communities. That's the problem we have. This is why it's like, it's very difficult to try and come across as not, you know, because their rhetoric is, I'm a Protestant, I'm a loyalist, and, you know, fucking, nobody should listen to me. You know what I mean? Why would any Catholic listen to me? How dare the Dubliners welcome me to their country? You know, and I'm getting the flack for that. You know what I mean? And like, you know, I have to be very careful. You know what I mean? And then, you know, my own community understands. My own community know me. I'm a young man from South Belfast. I joined the Orange Order when I was, I think I was about 7. I can't remember. I was that young in Sandy Row in the juniors. And I can remember having to run up at Donegal Road because I was that small, and the older guys would walk fast. You know. You know, I'm not going to go into too much detail because, you know, at the end of the day, we don't talk about stuff, you know what I mean? But I can tell you what I can tell you, you know, I'm a proud Protestant. I love my faith, you know. I love my country. That's never going to go away, you know what I mean? Yes, I was a loyalist prisoner. Yes, I was on the roof of the Cullen Road prison. Yes, I was the only 2-man team to go through the walls into the IRA's main cell on the floor. So I'm not here to tell you who I am and get credibility for anything. I know who I am. That's all that matters to me. And the person I am today is a man who loves his country. And it doesn't matter what religion you are, because they don't care what religion you are when they're coming to this country. They will not care what religion our kids are. They will not care if they're a Protestant child or a Catholic child. And let me just clear up a couple of things about that as well. This is very, very important. The thousands of children that were groomed and raped in Great Britain, up and down the breadth by Pakistani Muslim men, predominantly Pakistani Muslim men, were targeted because they were white. Never ever forget that. They never targeted any of their own community. It was only because they were not Muslim. Okay? Now, let that sink in. Nobody's talking about that, but that's the facts. That is the facts. That's the facts that the government cannot stop me telling you. Okay? Because this is important that we know these things. Our paedophiles, yes, they're all going about, oh, what about the white grooming gangs? And what about white paedophiles? Yes, we're in a white country, guys. Okay? We're in a white Christian country. But let me tell you something. Our paedophiles, they don't care what colour you are. They don't care what religion you are. And that's the difference between our paedophiles. Guys, I could go on and on, okay? But I'm not here to explain myself to people. I'm here to try and get you to understand the bigger picture of what's going on and what's coming, you know? I don't know what else to say to you. Yes, I'm going to get hate. But, you know, if you're intelligent, if you've got a bit of sense and you know how to do a wee bit of research, just stop for a second before you drop that hateful comment and go online and Google grooming gangs. Then go to images and then watch my video while you're slowly scrolling through the images and then drop your comment. I'm Freedom Dad. God bless every single one of you.